Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Hello, people, and welcome to Footy Judgment. Welcome to the Cooking Lounge. Champions are here, of course. Nina and Don are here. Champions of Europe. They literally said Champions of Europe. You'll never sing that. For everyone in the chat that is asking why we're late, you can tell the whole panel is here and someone is missing. Right? Someone is missing. It's Osam, of course. Hit that like button. I'm going to ask you something, guys, before you go on and watch this, because we're going to go into it. We're not going to do an intro or anything. Hit that like button if you're here. We have over 250 people. We're just starting the video. Like the video. All the guys' channels as well are in the description. Don, Nina, She Knows Arsenal, of course. All of them are doing regular content at the current moment. All of them are just doing maybe daily videos. Some people do twice. So go and support all these guys. They're great content creators out there. Kelk as well, which is here. And she's with Patrick and True City Fan, of course. Of course, Don Osam is going to be joining us. He's live on his stream, of course. A lot to talk about, and how's everyone doing? Sure,
good, man.
With that smirk, it's like
good, bro. You know, I slept well, man. Nina, did you enjoy your sleep, Nina? Was it a good sleep?
I did. I slept well too. Yeah, very, very well.
Yeah, man. Yeah. There's a certain imposter on this panel. You know what I mean? In fact, there's two imposters on this panel, in fact. You know what I'm saying? One that's in London with me that hasn't collected something, when there's others around London that have picked something up. Palace picked something up. Spurs picked something up. Chelsea picked something up. Yeah. You're not invited to the cookout, Jess. You know what I'm saying? And Kel, well, I can't really cook you too much because it's been what? How long has it been? This is what? 6 years without the first time in like 9 years without a trophy.
First time since Pep's first season, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Since we
took a year off. We took a year off after winning 4 Premier Leagues in a row.
So So I can't even cook you lot too tough. I can't even cook.
Hold on. So we had this. So you think because you won the Conference League, you had a better season than like this is the tone I'm hearing. You had a better season than Arsenal.
Of course, we had a better season than them. We literally finished 5 points below them. We both got Champions League.
But you know they gave up on the league in March, right? You know he's playing like a second team. You're playing to collect every point until the last game. These guys and Liverpool gave up on collecting points since March.
Bro, you can talk about giving up. They shouldn't have done that then. They shouldn't have done that, right?
No, why? They were never going to win the league since March.
38 games. It weren't about taking the foot off the gas because Liverpool won the league. What I was seeing in the last few games, I've been seeing all season from Arsenal. You know what I'm saying? These lot finished 5 points above me, bro. Finished in the top 4. And I won a trophy. Of course, we had a better season. That's not even a debate.
Don't you think you played in that trophy because you were so bad last season? If Arsenal win that trophy, they would have won it as well.
Yeah, if they won it and they got top 4 with it, and we got top 4 but no trophy, then that means they've had a better season.
No, but the reason why you're playing in that tournament because you were so bad last year that you ended in a Conference League instead of ending in a Champions League.
Of course,
right? So that is how it works, right?
Yeah, that's how it works. But how it also works is that we had to win the trophy. You're in that competition.
100%. And I'm not, bro. Congratulations on winning the trophy. You played one game and you won a conference league.
And let me say something as well. Let me say something as well, Mo. Yeah, the conference league. Of course, I'm being shameless about it, right?
All right, exactly. Thank you so much.
It's not as big as the Champions League and all of these things.
He's been waiting for months to get a cooking on me.
C10 European trophy.
Couldn't wait.
I'm a Chelsea fan, people, right? So listen, I've seen
to win the Champions League, and now they're.
I've seen everything. I've seen everything, right? But the facts are, Betis, the way people were talking about Betis before we played them, Nina, Anthony, they've got Isco, they've got Pellegrini. People don't know, Maresca actually played under Pellegrini at Malaga, right? And then he was his assistant manager when he was at West Ham, right? So that was actually the master versus the student. You know what I'm saying? It was quite interesting. And he battered him in the final, bro. Everyone last week was saying Chelsea, the Europa Conference League final, is going to have more quality than the Europa League, bro. Because Spurs and United are not as good as Betis and Chelsea. You know what I mean?
It was a more entertaining final, for sure.
It had more quality. It definitely had more quality.
To be honest, it was a game of two. It's a game of two halves.
Yeah.
Chelsea was dominated in the first half. The difference in quality is that when Chelsea dominated them, they scored 4 goals. That is the difference between when you have an Enzo, Caicedo, when you have a Palmer. Palmer cooked, to be honest with you. Look at, why is this shit? Palmer cooked, to be honest, yesterday. Regarding the midfield, you're getting Delap. We've seen the news. Regarding Delap and everything, you happy with Delap?
I'll let Nina answer that first. I've said it.
All right. Okay.
I'm content with Delap, but I think, I've always said Delap's an addition. He's not a solution. So that worries me, thinking we're not going to go in and sign someone bigger. And we'll be satisfied with these as our centre forward options, which to me isn't going to be good enough for next year, I personally think. So that's my only worry with that. But if we sign Delap and we go and sign someone else that is a level above, then that's absolutely fine. And I know that we are looking at another striker, but then my issue with that is that striker going to be in the category of the other potential, what if another youngster, 20-year-old that's got an 80 million release clause or something that crazy, that's the route I don't want to go down. So Delap is fine if someone else comes in, but if it's Delap and another youngster that kind of equates Jackson when he first arrived, then that's not good enough.
Spot on. I was literally about to say the same. Ideally, I want Delap and a Gyökeres, Delap and an Osimhen. I think that'll be perfect.
Yeah,
I think that'll be perfect.
That's a great lineup, by the way.
Yeah, 100%. With Champions League football as well, Nina, it's great. And the fact that we're looking at 2 strikers, these guys clearly don't want to have the same situation we had this year, innit? Like, obviously, it was unfortunate Jackson and Gil got injured in the same game, but we basically had no other options other than Jackson, right? Because Gil, yes, I like him, but Maresca obviously didn't trust him because of his age. You know what I mean? Whereas if you've got a Delap there, and then you've got, Gyökeres starting ahead of him, if you bring Gyökeres off the bench and you bring on a Delap, you're not losing much. That's a problem for teams, right?
People keep talking about Gyökeres to Chelsea as if Arsenal didn't do the groundwork for him. Like,
how do you know what done the groundwork as well?
That's what the reports are saying. The Arsenal did the groundwork for Gyökeres.
Yeah, there's reports out there about Gyökeres, but we could also be doing work over there. We've done 2 deals with Sporting.
If you get Gyökeres above Arsenal, I think Arsenal will be finished.
There's been a few reports today, Mo, from that Record Portugal thing. I tell you what they say with a pinch of salt, but to be fair to them, they started the news about Enzo Fernandez, and then that came to fruition, right? With Portuguese news, sometimes they are quite reliable, innit? You just have to know what to listen to, kind of thing, right? They were saying a few things about Chelsea have inquired or whatever, and I find it really hard to believe that we've gone to Sporting to go get Quenda, to go get Asugo, and we're not going to ask about Gyökeres. You know what I mean? We're definitely going to be asking about this guy, bro. You know what I'm saying? So let's see what happens there, innit? Let's see what happens there.
We'll see. I want to before we speak about the next season, all the stuff that will happen this season, I want to also touch on Zubimendi. But let me do these 2 super chats before we go on and touch on Zubimendi, since we have Jess here. Nina, please sign the absolute fraud Ekitike. He's awful. Even Cisco's better, and Cisco isn't ready. Sam, what did I tell you about Wirtz? Watch Madrid get him. By the way, we won the league. I would take a bullet for Arne Slot. Madrid are not signing Wirtz. He's in London doing his medical. So Madrid are not signing Wirtz, Rayan. That is not happening. And Ekitike is not worse than Cisco. So you're absolutely being shameless here, Ryan. Big up my Chelsea fans. Soon 25-26 Premier League champions. Okay, before we speak about that, the Zubimendi, there's a lot of people say that Arsenal don't need Zubimendi. Sam is one of them. Where is he going to start? A lot of people said that Zubimendi is not even going to start. Before we go on and talk about the midfield and which midfield is better and whose team, because Don said yesterday on Straight Facts, was it yesterday, Don, or Tuesday, that Chelsea are much close to Arsenal than what people think. But just first, give me a little bit about Zubimendi and how do you think Zubimendi is he going to start for Arsenal?
Anybody who doesn't think he's going to start is just being shameless. I feel like, I know that Partey had good games this season, but you just can't rely upon him. Like this, I know Arteta said that this was his best season and this is the most fit he's been. And I'm like, if that's his peak, then it's just still not good enough. I think Zubimendi is the type.
How is he not good enough? He was your best midfielder this season.
You can be our best midfielder, but that's mostly due to the fact that other people didn't play well at the beginning or Odegaard didn't have a great season. Like, I don't think that Thomas Partey had, well, let me put it this way. He had a really good season for us, but nobody talked about him for team of the season. Nobody put him up for it. Nobody wanted him there. His season was good, mostly due to the fact that other people weren't playing as well. And I still feel like towards the end, Rice was our player of the season. So yeah, Partey is what he is, like, you know, whatever. But in terms of Zubimendi, I have a hard time believing that this player is not good. You know, I think that a lot of people are starting to change their tune on Zubimendi because who's getting him? Liverpool were meant to get him. Everybody thought he was great. Now we're getting him. And now it's, you know, so if Declan is going to stay in the 8, we definitely need somebody because ain't no way you can rely upon Partey for the whole entire season. And this guy's probably the best 6/8 available to you on the market right now. So I like the signing.
There is a better 6. It's called Caicedo and Rodri.
Can I ask you a question? Let me ask just a question, because we had a little debate. We had a little debate a few weeks ago and whatnot, and I told you that I think our midfield's better than yours, and you told me that it's not. You told me that your midfield's actually performed better, but factually, like I was saying before, your midfield has progressed the ball the worst in the league, right? At the same rate as West Ham, right? At the same rate as West Ham, whereas my midfield has progressed the ball the best in the league, right? When you talk about the underlying metrics, all the big chances created, we've created more chances than you. Our midfield has scored more goals than you. Caicedo's been better than any midfielder that you've got. So do you still think that your midfield is better than Chelsea's?
Can I give you the 4 names? Can you give you the 4 names? Zubimendi. Okay. Let me just put that in. Zubimendi, Partey, Rice, Odegaard, Moreno. That's a 5 midfield.
Yep.
Chelsea is Lavia, Caicedo, Enzo, Palmer, and De Santos. These are going to be the 5 that goes
Andre Santos and Asugo. Andre Santos and Asugo.
I don't know who that is.
We're talking about this season. We're talking about this season. We're talking about this season. Asugo, we brought him from Sporting as cover for Caicedo, right? But I'm talking about the midfield that we already have that we've seen this season. So you think
but we're going towards next season now.
Hold on, Jess. From what you've seen from both teams, you still believe that your midfield is better than Chelsea's?
Yeah.
What makes you say that? What makes you say that?
We had that conversation like 2 months ago. What's changed?
No, but I want to understand what makes you say that. What's your evidence?
I say since we had this conversation, there has been 10 games in the Premier League, and I think Caicedo has been a monster in the last 10 games. Also, Enzo, now he's had a full season now at Chelsea. He has been good. So yes, the sample size maybe then was like, yeah, we need to wait and see how Chelsea in the season, are they going to be able to do it and get to the Champions League? In my opinion, Caicedo this season has been great as a DM. He's adding goals to his game as well as a DM. Enzo Fernandez has created a lot of chances, and also he's adding goals as well to his game. So Declan Rice as well, he's created chances, he's adding goals.
Yeah.
But there is a massive gap between Martin Odegaard and Cole Palmer. In Cole Palmer's bad season, he's having 21 GA. That is his bad season.
I want to hear Jess's take, Jess. Why do you still believe that your midfield is better than mine?
Because my whole reason, the way that I said it was not based on underlying metrics and tactical speak. I was just saying, from my perspective, when we play against you guys, this is what I said. I said, mano y mano, when we play against you guys, you never dominate us with that exact same midfield. You have Enzo, you have Caicedo, you have Cole Palmer, you have these players. Actually, we haven't played against Cole Palmer, I'll say that. But
the Emirates, you haven't.
No, I mean we haven't. So I don't
played
think
against him. You played against him last year at the Bridge and this year at the Bridge. You didn't play against him at Emirates.
Well then it's
so
my argument is even stronger.
You're saying that your midfield is not better than mine because in a one-off game you don't dominate.
Not in a one-off game. You have had these players for multiple seasons now, and every time we play against you guys, you don't dominate our midfield.
Yes,
and then you also you're asking me for my opinion, and you're not letting me speak.
So go on, talk.
Let me finish. Damn.
That's what Don does.
Let me talk. It's the
Kevin
same
Durant.
argument I used before. I just don't see this huge gap between you and us. I never said that we were way better or anything like that, but I would need to see your midfield dominate top midfields, at least in the league, more than once. You beat a drunk Liverpool, you know.
You're not watching us then. You're not watching us then. If you think that we haven't dominated multiple midfields this season, you're not watching enough Chelsea. For you to say I don't think that your midfield is better than ours because when we play you don't dominate us. I'm sorry, that's a weak debate, right? You're not telling me anything in terms of anything. You're not telling me anything about chances created.
It's not based on underlying stats because
you have to base it. You have to base it on a factor, right? Because Terry asked me at the start of the season. I said to him, Chelsea's midfield is better than Arsenal's. He said, what metrics are you going to use to judge it by? I said, chances created. I said, goals scored. When I talk about the DMs, I spoke about all the defensive metrics, right? Caicedo is up there on all metrics, not just defensive metrics. He's up there in a lot of metrics, right? And like I've already said to you, Enzo in the league has outperformed Rice when you talk about the numbers, even in performances as well. Nina will tell you, Enzo's been very good this season, right? In part, worst season, he's still got over 20 GA in the league, while Odegaard's been stinking out the place, right? We have dominated a lot of teams in our midfield, right? It hasn't been consistently dominating you guys because you've got a good team as well. Like when the big teams play each other, it's a chess game most of the time. When we play you lot, a lot of the time it's a chess game. You know what I'm saying? But over the course of 38 games, my midfield factually has outperformed yours. So I don't understand how you can still be sitting there saying, I think my midfield is better than yours. I don't get it.
What is your reasoning for why hold on
anymore? It's a fact now.
Okay, if you think that your midfield is better, which you thought 2 months ago, fair enough. I still think my midfield is better than yours. I didn't say it was way better. I just said I still think it's better than yours. And well, then answer me this: why is it that Rice made team of the season and Caicedo didn't?
Come on, you really think?
I'm asking that question because you don't take into any of the factors outside of metrics that don't really say anything when you look at the eye test as well.
But Rice hasn't even been your best player, so I don't even know why he's in there. No, he hasn't. Not for me, he hasn't. Not for me, he hasn't. Well, he hasn't even been your best midfielder for me. He hasn't even been your best midfielder for me.
Your opinion is not the only thing that matters. You're not the only person that watches football.
Yeah, but hold on. How could you say that? How could you say that to me? How could you say that to me?
It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter to me. Well,
hold on, Jess.
Your opinion doesn't matter to me.
Hold on. How can you talk to me about my opinion, try to shit on my opinion, but then try to tell me about...
I'm not trying to shit on your opinion.
Hold on, you don't let me finish.
Okay.
You don't let me finish. You're shitting on my opinion. You're saying, oh, it's not my opinion that matters, but then you're giving me the opinion of the mainstream media, right?
I said your opinion is not listening. You're not listening because you're listening to respond and not to take in.
I know. I heard what you said. So Rice has been better than Caicedo. Then is what you're saying?
I think Rice has been really good. I think he has been.
Has he been better than Caicedo?
To me, he has been. Yeah. He has been.
These two are not comparable. These two are not comparable. One of them plays at the DM. One of them plays at an 8. Like
but you
compare Caicedo.
Enzo's even been better than Rice.
No. You compare Caicedo to Thomas Partey. Caicedo has been better.
Rice is better than Caicedo.
Enzo Fernandez. You compare Enzo Fernandez this season to Declan Rice, right? Both of them are very close. It's for me. I can't say this one was miles better because if I say this one is better than this, Declan Rice has had second half of the season.
Hold on, even if
I think Enzo's better than Partey and Rice is better than Caicedo.
Even if you don't want to compare,
you're flipping it. Hold on. Sam, you're flipping it. You're flipping it. Sam, someone plays as a DM in Thomas Partey. You're flipping it to suit what you want to say. Caicedo plays in the same position as Thomas Partey, so we compare.
They're all midfielders. You can compare them.
No, but that's not the point.
Let me just say something before I go get a drink. Yeah. Even if you don't want to compare Caicedo to Rice, because Rice has mainly been playing as an 8, Enzo has been better than Rice this season, right? he has been better than Rice this season. When you talk about his influence in games, when you talk about even the GA in the Prem, he's beaten.
You're saying that Rice's influence hasn't been big?
I never said this hasn't been big, but I think Enzo's been better, right? For me, our top three performers.
Think your players are better. Like,
no, I don't, Jess. No, I don't, because Enzo last season.
When it comes to Arsenal,
hold on, Enzo last season. Hold on, Jess. Enzo last season wasn't good. As much as I like Enzo, he wasn't good, and I spoke about it a lot, right? And I mainly put that on Poch and how he was using it. Last season, I said Rice was one of your better players. Rice was very good last season, right? This season, he wasn't as good as what he was last year, and you know it yourself. So if you don't want to compare Rice and Caicedo because they play two different roles, for me, Enzo's been better than Rice. Enzo's been better than Rice. Enzo's been better than Rice for me. He's been better than Rice.
Exactly. The key point in that is, for me, the problem is you take your opinion as the only opinion that matters. So when anybody gives you a different opinion, you don't absorb it because you're trying to.
No, not really, because I just come back up with the metrics. I come back up with the metrics. You come back up with the metrics.
Back yours up with. I don't do a lot of like stats and data and all that kind of stuff, because the chart that you brought in the group chat the other day was like, where did the teams build up from, or how did they attack or something? And it was like, Arsenal don't use the center, they use the right. And that was your reasoning for why your midfield is better. And I'm like, that's just tactical gobbledygook. That doesn't mean shit.
It's not tactical gobbledygook. It's
facts. It is. It's tactical gobbledygook. Like, it just is. Like, well, your team doesn't build up through the middle, so my midfield is better. When you know that we're always trying to build up, trying to get the ball to Saka, so of course we're going to build up towards the right.
So then, you're not going for your midfield then. So how can you?
If you want to talk about metrics, just so you know, if you want to talk about metrics, 1 second, because you can't have your cake and eat. If you want to talk about metrics, Gravenberch has better defensive metrics than Caicedo, and McAllister has better metrics than Enzo. Now what?
Gravenberch has no, he doesn't have better defensive metrics.
Go check it.
This is what I'm saying.
Go check it. Go check it. He has more tackles per game. Go check it.
Because that's not what he
go check it. I can just go check it right now, bro.
Yeah, now he's gonna convert to eye test, Jess. When it's
not about eye test. You talked about the metrics. Let me go read the metrics right now.
Go read the metrics.
Gravenberch has more metrics right now. Mo, in fact,
I want to see the metrics.
Let me DM this to you.
Your eye test tells you that Gravenberch was the best DM in the league this season. I don't think that.
No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. A lot of
Gravenberch was the best DM. Yes, he was.
Do you know how many Liverpool fans have literally said in the second half of the season? In the second half of the season, he has tailed off. And even when I've watched him in the second half of the season, it wasn't as good as the first half of the season.
Your entire team took off 10 games in a season and played like shit.
But
so you still only finished 5 points.
Let me read a few things. Let me read a few things, yeah? Watch this, Mo. So Moises Caicedo is the only player to win the ball back 200 plus times and win 200 plus ground duels. And he has also made 114 tackles. But somehow Gravenberch has cleared him defensively. It's not adding up. Nina, let me go get a drink. Nina, let me go get a drink, Nina. You cook them now, man.
This will be a fun debate next year.
Alcoholic drink. Get a vodka cranberry or something.
Yeah, he's putting some vodka in that for sure.
My only point with all of that was that we all define what's better by different things. I really don't do the deep dive tactical data behind. I don't do all that. But I'm also not saying that I don't think Caicedo and Enzo and Cole Palmer had a fantastic season. I think they're great players. I just think even at our worst, which we've been really, really poor this season, to me, I still feel like our midfield together, all of it works better than theirs on a consistent basis. And that could change next season. That could change next season. I'm not saying that it's stuck in time, but
So you don't think, I want to get Nina's opinion and the others, you don't think that Cole Palmer and Odegaard, we only talk about Enzo Fernandez and Caicedo, but there is a third part of that midfield, which is the creativity, and the third guy, which 33% of that midfield is consistent of that guy. Odegaard versus Cole Palmer. Odegaard has had 2 good seasons and a bad season this season. Cole Palmer has had a magnificent season, not only very good, magnificent season last season, and he has a bad season this season, but he still got 20 GA. That by itself, for me, like the scale is tipped towards Chelsea, because the 33 of that midfield is consistent of that playmaker who is he's way superior to Martin Odegaard. Like even Martin Odegaard's best season is not compared to Cole Palmer.
And when you go talk about chances created as well, Mo, yeah, like Enzo Fernandez and Palmer are literally top 10 in Europe. Yeah, not in the Prem, in Europe, right? In Europe, you know what I'm saying? It's mad out here, bro. This guy's creating chance after chance. He's crashing the box, bro. He's playing well. He's been a leader for us as well, because obviously Reece, when he's not playing, Enzo's the captain. You know what I mean? So I don't understand how Jess can say, oh, well, how can you really judge our midfield when most of our play comes through the right? Well, then why'd you overrate your midfield so much if you're not using it? Yeah. Do you think if right now Man City had Rodri and all of these guys playing, they'll keep going to their right? They'll keep going to their right. No, they'll progress the ball through the midfield. We progress our football through the midfield because we have ballers in there, right? You don't like to go to the right, because you've got a GameCube playing as an 8, right? A GameCube that scored the other day, by the way, but had like 20 touches on the ball. How can you as an attacking midfielder have 20 touches on the ball? That's disgraceful, yeah? That is absolutely disgraceful. And like I said, Jess,
Who are you talking about?
I'm talking about Declan. I'm talking about Declan.
Okay.
GameCube. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. The quicker your manager moves him back to his actual position, his natural position as a in a pivot, in a 6, that's when you'll get the best out of it. The more you keep using him here, good luck. You ain't got no creative spark in that midfield. Your midfield is stale. Yeah. Your midfield is stale and you can't even see it, Jess. Right? You need to watch more teams. And you will see how bad your midfield is. Right? My eyes never lied to me. My eyes never lied to me. That is why you progress the ball the worst in the middle. You are Bukayo FC. You go to the right, go to the right. You go to the middle, nothing a go on in there. Yeah? Nothing a go on in there. You know what I'm saying? Don't try to compare your Rice as an attacking midfielder to Enzo Fernandez, who's a natural attacking midfielder. Yeah? You talk about the final third. Enzo can't defend it, apparently. This guy's won the ball back the most in the final third for Chelsea. Even more than Declan Rice. You know what I'm saying? When I look at all these defensive metrics, Rice is nowhere to be seen. You know what I mean? Basmati is nowhere to be seen. But he scores 2 free kicks and all of a sudden he's world class. All of a sudden, no one can be better than him. Yeah?
If you talk like this, Don, you said
he's literally still having a debate that's been over for about 5 minutes.
No. If you say that, I want to get. No, okay, Nina here. And if that is I don't know if you agree or disagree, Nina. I don't know.
I don't even know what I'm agreeing with, disagreeing with anymore.
Like, okay, if that is the case, Don on the football terrace. Go ahead.
No, sorry, you were asking a question.
No, I was asking. Don on the football terrace the other day spoke about the gap between Chelsea and Arsenal, even as a team, right, is not that far. That Chelsea can actually compete for the league next season and finish above Arsenal and compete for the first 2-3 spots. If Don is talking like this about his midfield, so maybe all they need is a striker, which is both teams are going for Eucharist. Right, so both teams, Chelsea are gonna wrap Delap. They might get another striker. Chelsea are actually targeting a center back. I actually read a report today. They are targeting a center back that is actually experienced, not a young center back. If Chelsea do this, do you see Chelsea competing for the title, Nina, next season?
Well, I'll go to answer your first question first, where I agree with Don about the difference being, or the gap being a lot smaller, especially for next season. Because I think for this season, at the start, if you think about it, we were on par with Arsenal for the majority of that first start to the season. To be fair, we were at our own fault because we dropped off big time with our own performances. We know what our problems were towards the second half of the season. And I just think that a lot of those glaring absences were because we have lacked, a centre forward that's not Nicholas Jackson, somebody else. Again, you talk about our creative midfielders. Enzo Fernandez has provided so much more for a non-existent box presence, so he could have had a lot more assists as well this season. He's been brilliant, but Enzo Fernandez, we're talking, could have been even more brilliant, even had more assists to his name this season. So we know that we've had absences that have been our reason for dropping off. But if we're talking specifically about Arsenal, we were on par with them at the start of the season. And I mean, we were only ever looking at ourselves. I was never interested in this season being a season where Chelsea finished above Arsenal. I always just wanted us to have a convincing race in the top 4. And, we made that difficult for ourselves. But, we pretty much won the same number of games. Again, I'm only saying this because you're talking about us two specifically. But to get to next season, yes, I absolutely do think that we could do much better. I think, you know, this is why I look at this summer transfer window as such a massive chance to equip ourselves. And you asked at the start, are you happy with Delap? I'm content with Delap, but for me, I'm looking at that extra category above Delap that we need to bring in a player that is just a level above, because I look at Delap as an addition, not a solution to what we already have. I think he's a great kind of option, someone definitely to have alongside Nicholas Jackson, but I also would love to bring in someone like a Yorkeres, just because I think he takes us to that extra level. And you know, we're not stupid, of course we're happy we won the Conference League, blah blah, make your jokes and stuff, but you will never be afforded to make even the mistakes that we did in the Conference League, or how many teams let us make mistakes and, you know, we were just having a good time, how many games, you know, we dropped points in the Premier League, wasn't smooth sailing. So we know that we definitely need to equip ourselves a lot better, and that is why I just have a higher expectation for the summer transfer window. You spoke about defence, Mo. Absolutely. A couple additions into our defence, you know, maybe bring me like a Gehi. I'd be perfectly happy with that. Tie us all in at the back, Premier League experience, has leadership there, but you know, I don't doubt that, but this is just the only thing I fear. You know, we talked about it last time when you guys were trying to convince me, don't worry, if Chelsea get in the Champions League, that makes you look at the transfer window a little bit differently. But, you know, with this Delap signing, that's great, perfect. But please don't let me down. I know we're looking at another striker, but please don't let it be another kind of same profile as Jackson when he came in, just a good breakout season and that be enough. Because I know we're still so adamant about making this model work, but Champions League is different gravy, and we know what we're looking ahead towards. Currently, what we have isn't quite good enough to go and compete there with the very best. We have a great squad. I think we have got a lot of potential. There is a lot of still hot and cold players that are still coming together on different days, but I just think I want that guy. I just think we are that guy away from definitely becoming a team that competes with
100%. Nina, you're spot on when you say that, because when you look at some of the players that we've got, you've got Palmer, you've got Enzo, you've got Lavia, you've got Caicedo. All these guys go into all teams right now in the Prem that are competing or want to compete, and they help them win the league, right? So we've got good players here that can help us win the league. So now it's on Clear Lake, it's on the sporting directors to actually be ambitious in the window and be smart, yeah? Go bring me guys that come into the 11 straight away and help us compete. Because we literally just finished the season, Mo, with Jackson up top, right? Who had the worst conversion. The worst conversion in the league. He even regressed from last season, right? He scored 10 goals this season. He scored 14, I believe, last season in the league, right? He missed 19 big chances this season. You know what I mean? And that's what I was telling people, like, you sit any striker into a room right now and you just sit them in there for 1 hour. Just show them the chances Enzo's creating. Just show them the chances that Palmer's creating. Man's going to be walking out of there salivating, ready to eat now. You know what I mean? Because they get fed, yeah? Strikers in this team will get fed because we've got a lot of creativity.
Yeah, but also other teams will actually improve, like Rayan Cherki, Rangers going to City, Liverpool are getting Wirtz. Arsenal might get Yorkeres.
By the way, I just checked right now, Don, as we were talking. McAllister does have more tackles per game than Caicedo. I just checked it. McAllister got 3.3 tackles per game, and Caicedo got 3.1 tackles per game.
So McAllister's been better defensively than Caicedo this season.
Using the metrics. Why you want to use metrics?
I told you the metrics.
Why you want to use metrics, Jeff? I'll show you right now the metrics.
I showed
per
you
90. He has more tackles made.
I showed you all the defensive metrics, bro. You know what I mean?
And also, anyway, the reason why Enzo Fernandez has all the chances created is he actually has been in the penalty box. I just checked the metrics. He's been in the penalty box double the times of Caicedo, Gravenberch, and McAllister.
I don't know what you're talking about, bro.
I'm literally on Squawker right now in the comparison.
The English argument just got
You just threw me off.
Having tackles per game. Alexis McAllister 3.3, Caicedo 3.1. Using your logic, McAllister is better defensively because of the metrics.
I apologize. English is not my first language.
I haven't even got smoke for McAllister, so I don't know what you're doing here. You know what I mean? Let's leave Mac alone. I haven't got smoke for you, man. Listen, I told Roms from last year, November, Arsenal ain't coming near you. Yeah, you're better than these guys. You're better than everyone in the league right now. Arsenal ain't coming near you. And he was like, nah, when they get Odegaard, they're going to go on a run. I
just had to go check
nothing. Yeah, I said Odegaard ain't going to do nothing. Even before he got injured, he was doing nothing on the pitch. Casper, I've been calling him Casper for 3 years. You know what I mean? So him doing this right now is no surprise to me, bro. Most of the time when he plays against the big teams, he's Casper. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, as I was saying, Mo, we're not far off. We are not far off.
By the way, that is only this season. Odegaard has really good 2 seasons. People, when should it? No, he did.
The first year.
No, he did. No, he did. Now you're denying something.
Let me break it down then.
No. Before you break it down, no, bro. Before you break it down, Don, he literally created the most big chances in Europe last season. I was getting to that.
Okay, chances don't count. They're not going to count.
Second half of last season, Jess, I was literally saying Odegaard is playing at a world-class level. Even in the Champions League, he was rising for you guys, right? He was playing well. But in the first half of the season, he was shit. It's only after you came back from Dubai where he really stepped it up. Year before, when you first competed,
it not count, or
I never said it didn't count. I'm breaking it down. The year before that, he was very good.
He's had one bad season then, so we all.
I said 1.5. He had one and a half good seasons. 1.5 good seasons. I don't think he's been good this year, and last year had half a good season.
But it still doesn't negate the fact that Cole Palmer.
If you have the highest,
everyone's taking
created in everybody in Europe, and he was able to do it in half of a season because you said it was shit. Isn't that even more impressive?
I never said he was shit. I said in the second half of last season he was playing at a world-class level. That's what I just said.
No, right? You said.
So now you want to use metrics. Now you want to use metrics now, yeah?
Am I going crazy? He said he was shit at the beginning.
I said he was shit at the start of the season, and then when he came back from Dubai,
at the beginning of the season, if he gave everybody that season a head start, and then in the second half of the season, he was able to be the top chance creator in Europe. That's even more impressive. Like, you can't take a season away where he was really good for 4 or 5 months because he wasn't good for the first 3 or 4. Come on.
Yeah, but if I'm breaking down Palmer's season, if I'm breaking down Palmer's season, I'm not going to say Palmer was good all season. I think Palmer had a good start, to be fair, Nino. Like this season, Palmer started off quite well, and then he kind of dropped off in like the second half of the season. He's picked it up towards the end a little bit. But he hasn't had a great...
I feel like you're nitpicking for the sake of nitpicking. Odegaard, for all intents and purposes, has had 1 bad season at Arsenal.
I thought, listen, for me personally, like I said,
not for you personally, for just, you know, I get that, you know, your opinion means more, but
it doesn't mean more.
I get that on the scale.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
More heavily.
No, but also at the same time, like,
he's had 1 bad.
I'm gonna ask just a simple question. Tomorrow you have a midfield of whoever, Zubimendi or Rice or Caicedo Enzo. Would your third midfielder be Odegaard or Cole Palmer?
I think Cole Palmer is really good, and I love Odegaard. He's my guy. I feel like when the type of system that we play.
Bro, that is very, very cheeky, by the way.
What, me?
No, Mo, with that question.
So long to answer. That's such an obvious.
I don't think that's a cheeky question at all.
Because she had an answer, guys. She's like, well, I think I love Odegaard.
I do, because I know if I say that, okay, I'd want somebody that is kind of just like a free 10 that's going to get more goals and assists. I would love that, you know. So based off of this season, I'd probably want to plug Cole Palmer into this team for sure. But you're
hoping Odegaard goes back to his best.
Yeah, I am.
But you don't have that privilege. The difference between you know that, right? It's the same that happened for Martinelli. You went into the season thinking, you know that. You can't afford to have third of your midfield hoping that he gets back to his best form.
Well, that's why, I mean, I'm not one of the fans that don't feel like we should go get more creativity. Like, I'm not deluded. I just don't know whether or not we will. But, you know, if we should get another attacking midfielder. I don't think it makes sense for any team to have one creative midfielder in your side. I feel like that's
that creative midfielder is not.
I think Arsenal should go for Cherki.
Yeah, same here.
And that's why people. The problem is now.
I don't get why they need creativity in there. I don't get why they need creativity in there though. They
need creativity. From that midfield.
No, man, they're creating well. They've got Rice there, they've got Odegaard there. They don't need no upgrades.
Because the metrics show that they're not good.
They are dead last. Don.
I know they are more, but not according to Jess, they're not.
No, she never said that.
I never.
You want to use the metrics.
He
You
just
want to use
said
the
they
metrics
need
before.
creativity.
No, you're so funny. Jess.
Literally said,
You're
I
so
need
funny,
a
Jess.
creative
No,
midfield.
She tried to tell me. She tried to call me a tactical.
Let's just go in circles.
I
But
did.
when it comes
I
to-
mean,
when it comes to Casper,
but when Hussam brought you
Go.
when Hussam brought you stats that didn't fit your narrative, you said that they didn't count.
I don't know why he's speaking to me
You
about
are a
McAllister.
typical gaslighter when it comes to talking about your
I never
players.
said
You
that.
are.
And
you
watch
are
this, Jess.
gaslighting.
Can I?
Chelsea,
Yes,
yeah.
I'm gonna make this.
I'm gonna defend here.
One
Last
second.
season,
One second.
he-
I'm gonna make
Isaac
this metrics
Fernandez
debate.
every
I'm gonna
single
make
game.
this metrics debate 100 times worse. Watch this, Jess. Yeah, McAllister has more tackles per 90, right? Gravenberch has more clearances per 90, interceptions per 90 than Caicedo. Here we go.
But
Now
okay,
what?
what's your point, Hussam? What is the point you're trying to make?
The point is me watching Caicedo
We're going crazy.
versus watching Gravenberch and
This is just
McAllister.
going in
I know
circles.
that Caicedo is
Wait, this is very important. What he's gonna say is
Can I-
very,
can I-
very
can I
important.
I want
Can
to
I
hear the
finish?
point because he's just saying things.
Can I finish
He's
the
saying-
sentence? So you interrupted me at the point where it matters. Anyway,
Go.
Back to the topic. Watching Caicedo, McAllister, and Gravenberch, I know that Caicedo is better defensively. The problem is, you were the one that wanted to bring up the metrics, not me. You are the one that brought up the metrics, not me.
Yeah.
Watching Declan Rice and Caicedo, I think Declan Rice is better defensively. Without metrics, I can see it by watching him because Declan Rice is more physical, because Declan Rice is a better tackler, because Declan Rice has been playing that position for a longer period of time, which gives him that experience. So you can't use metrics when it suits you, and then someone else brings you a metric of someone who beats your guy, and all of a sudden you're upset. Guess what? Even for the tackles made thing, if you go look at like the bottom clubs, like the teams in the bottom 5, their DMs have a shitload of tackles made because they're getting attacked all the time. So they have a lot of tackles made.
So I've just caught you in another lie.
I think Caicedo.
I've just caught you in another lie.
I think Caicedo is in the team of this, in my personal team of the season. My midfield 3 in the team of the year is Gravenberch, Caicedo, McAllister. That's the 3 of the team of the year. But if we're having a general conversation, then generally I think Rice is better than Caicedo. That's it.
I disagree, but can I do these super chats because there's a lot of them and some of them addressing some people and we need to respond. Mina saying, Don, change your Mina is different. Change your mind on breaking the wages for Osimhen. Yes.
Yeah,
No.
he'd be really good
No.
on top.
No.
I think he'd be perfect.
You-
for
He wants over 400k a week, bro. He wants over 400k a week.
Nobody wants
You get
over
to a Premier
400K
League, it's
week.
worth it.
Nobody does.
That's basically what he wants after tax, bro. He wants to be earning 12 million plus. He wants to be
Okay,
earning
that's-
basically the same as Mo Salah.
That is crazy. If he wants that, he's not Mo Salah, with all due respect to him. Don, it's not about the names. It's about how effective they are. I like our midfield, but it doesn't function better than Arsenal. That's a Liverpool fan. Or Liverpool, ethic.
That's what I mean. You lot just say things because I come here, right? I actually come here. I bring evidence here and I speak about all the underlying metrics, all the things that you judge a midfielder on, right? I judge attacking midfielders for the amount of goals that they score, the amount of assists, all their creativity. That's what I judge midfielders on. And defensively, bro, they can't be bums off the ball, obviously, right? And when it comes to a DM, I judge him mainly on what they do defensively, bro. And Caicedo has cleared these guys defensively. You know what I'm saying? He's cleared them, bro. You know what I mean? So I don't understand how you can say it's not as effective as this. We've factually got the best midfield in the league. It's not my opinion anymore. It's a fact.
How even if Liverpool get Wirtz, you still
If Liverpool get Wirtz, it'll close the gap a little bit more because I like Wirtz, right? Where I mark you down, where I mark you down, Hussam, with your midfield, yeah, it's a Bosnia. That's the guy that I mark down, bro.
Man said close the gap.
It will close the gap.
Florian Wirtz just won Bundesliga Player of the Year twice. Florian Wirtz has better metrics than Musiala.
Yeah.
And you're talking about close the gap.
Okay.
You just said you do McAllister, Gravenberch, and Florian
your
Wirtz.
midfield, okay, Hussam. So you better hope that your midfield, yeah, perform. I'll perform.
What wins me the league? We will win it again. Don't worry.
No, I'll perform my
We're gonna
midfield.
win it again. Don't worry.
I'll perform my midfield next year, innit? Because I
We're gonna win it
rate
again.
I
Don't
rate
worry.
Villa's midfield over yours. I rate Villa's midfield over yours. I rate Newcastle.
You rate Villa. Hold on. You rate.
You guys, I
split.
can't do it anymore.
Yeah. I rate Villa's midfield. I rate Villa's midfield second in the league.
over Liverpool.
Yeah.
Morgan Rogers, Kamara, and Tielemans.
McGinn,
Over Liverpool.
Tielemans. They've
They
got
could like
Onana in there. They've got Onana in there. They've got who else? They've even got Jacob Ramsey. Bro, that midfield's very, very
They have
good.
a lot of depth,
Very,
but
very
the
good.
quality's not as high. But it's a lot of depth.
You know
It's more depth than
what?
anyone
Aston
else
Villa.
has, I think.
You know how good
The
Tielemans has
quality's
been
not
this
as high.
season? Do you know how good Tielemans has been this
Just
season?
because
Yeah,
Tielemans
but
has been
he's-
good this
no, do you know
season
how
doesn't
good
mean he's
Rodgers
better
has
than
been this
anybody
season?
in Liverpool's midfield.
Tielemans has been very good this season, though. So I don't get why
Yes.
you say that.
Being
And
very
no one
good
is
doesn't mean you're
arguing
better than
this.
someone
But
else.
hold on, Jess. I've already said to you, out of all the options that they've got, I prefer it over Liverpool. That doesn't mean I'm calling Liverpool's midfield dead, right?
I didn't
But
say
for
that
me,
you said it
I
was
mark
dead.
it down.
I
I
said you're
mark it
saying
down.
it's better.
I mark it down because of Szoboszlai. Yeah, I do think Aston Villa's midfield's better. I do.
It's fucking crazy, Don.
I do.
That's
I
crazy.
prefer the
Okay,
midfield.
you mark it down because
No,
Szoboszlai,
that's
now it's going to
crazy,
be Wirtz.
man.
Villa.
Come on.
Aston
You mark
Villa
it down because
is a
Szoboszlai,
very,
now it's
very
going to be
good
Wirtz.
midfield.
Now what?
You lot unfamiliar with Aston Villa's midfield. It's very good. It's very good.
Yeah, but
I
it's
like
not
it.
like, with all due respect, it's not like it's not like fantastic. You know, like
It is.
it's good.
They
But
have
it's
they have
not like-
quantity over. They have the quantity over
Yeah,
quality.
they have a lot
Like
of
they have
players. Yes.
6 or 7 really good midfielders, but
With
none
all
of them
the-
have. the
in my
quality.
opinion, none of that midfield.
By the way,
Wait,
Kel,
hold on,
on the
wait, let
flip
Kel say
side,
that again. Let Kel say that
Aston
again.
Villa
Kel
have
say that
like
again.
Aston Villa have like 5 B-level midfielders.
Wait,
5
hold
all.
on. Wait, say that again. Say that again, Kel.
Yeah,
I
she's
said
right.
I said their quantity is higher than any other team, but the quality is lower. So they have like 6 or 7 really good midfielders, but none of them are like top level for me.
Wait, who's not top level in their midfield?
Yeah, Kel, she
Who's
ate
not-
that because that's
who's not-
true.
wait, hold on. Who's not top level?
Gravenberch,
Who's not top
McAllister
level
are
in their
better than
midfield?
every Villa midfielder.
Yeah,
True,
these,
true.
yeah.
No,
Names,
I want-
I'm
let
taking
me
a lot
ask
of other
Kel a
names
question.
over.
Who's top
Their
level?
best
Who's not top level?
midfielder is probably. See, I can't even pick who their best one. I want to say Morgan Rogers, but
You lot are sleeping. on
Tielemans did have a
midfield.
really good season, but I can't take them as a collective over Liverpool's. Not right
Yeah.
now.
Nah,
Maybe
man,
I think they have more depth though, but I think their
Nah,
midfield has a little bit more depth, like at the back end. Like McGinn's much better than someone like Endo. Like in
Yeah, but having the
Liverpool's
numbers
midfield.
is Kelly's point is spot on. Having the
I
numbers
agree.
that wouldn't make a difference. For example, as one Cole Palmer in last season,
Yeah.
you would edge all that midfield. You know, when you have an elite guy like that, you get my point. McAllister this season has been very good. Gravenberch has been amazing this season.
Nah,
Supposedly,
he-
He's
he-
the player of the season.
He had a very good smoke. He had a very good first half of the season. Second half, he's not been as great as what he was in the first half. McAllister's been good. McAllister I'll probably say has been more consistent than
up
Gravenberch.
until
And I
March,
don't rate. Hold on, Mo. And I don't really rate Szoboszlai like that. If they get Wirtz, when you get Wirtz, in fact, Sam, because I do think you're going to get him, right? Then I'll say, yeah, cool. I do think Liverpool's midfield is better than Villa's. But like I said, I mark it down because of Szoboszlai. You put Rodgers into your midfield instead of Szoboszlai, Hussam. I'll say that it's better than Villa's. But for me, I really like Villa's midfield. I think they've got a lot of profiles in there that complement them. And when you actually watch Villa, a lot of their football comes through their midfield. They progress the
there
play.
is a reason why Liverpool's midfield this season has been very good, because suppose like the way Arne Slot played, suppose like complemented McAllister and Gravenberch by providing the energy. Next season, having Wirtz is going to change the way he plays. Now McAllister is going to drop deeper. Wirtz is going to go for that's tactical changes. You know,
Szoboszlai won't start. Szoboszlai won't start.
but no one said that. I didn't say that. But
You
I
just said
said
you would drop deeper. You just said you would drop deeper. So you're saying
McAllister. I said McAllister. McAllister will drop.
McAllister he already plays in the pivot though.
No, Gravenberch is the deepest guy on that midfield. McAllister is a little
By
bit
the way,
higher.
Kel,
McAllister, Gravenberch. Hold on, McAllister, Gravenberch, Wirtz is one of the best midfielders in the league. Facts. Right?
it's this is
Yeah.
the thing.
No, but hold
Kel
on. You
gave you the perfect
said,
rebuttal.
hold on, Osam.
Even if Aston Villa have 5 or 6 good midfielders, none of them are Gravenberch or McAllister level. So you've got two
You know how good
in
Tielemans
the
has been
Liverpool
this season?
side that are next level quality. So if I were to combine them and try to make the best midfield, Gravenberch and McAllister start, and then you can put in a Morgan Rogers or whatever. So that's the thing. And now that Szoboszlai is not going to be starting and got Wirtz starting, it's definitely better. That's just the truth.
Nah, man, you lot are
Also, I'll
sleeping.
give-
You lot
I
are
wanna say
sleeping on.
something.
You lot are
Newcastle
sleeping on.
midfield is
Hold
better
on,
than
you
Aston
lot are
Villa.
sleeping on. You lot are sleeping on one of the best midfielders in the league in the Tielemans, right?
But
The way-
Tielemans
the
doesn't
way I
make
hear-
only done it one
him
season,
better than
that's why
everyone
nobody's
else.
rating
Tielemans
Tielemans is
hold
not
on,
even
hold on,
better than
hold
the
on.
guy
not
that
a
he
track
made.
record.
Tielemans has performed at a very, very high level this season, right?
He doesn't have a
Tielemans
track
is
record.
not McAllister or Gravenberch.
Tielemans does
Rodgers-
not drag
Nina's like
McGinn
looking at the
into
screen,
a
she's
better
like,
midfield than Liverpool's.
He was like,
okay?
I'm not
Listen,
there's
I've already
no
said
way.
to you, Jess. I marked that midfield down because of Szoboszlai. They bring in Wirtz. I'll put it above Villa's. But for
But
me,
you
as it
don't,
is
you
right
don't
now,
mark
we've got Szoboszlai
Villa's
in there.
midfield down for McGinn.
McGinn's a good player. We're doing it.
McGinn's a good
Szoboszlai is a
player,
good
but he's
player.
not a great player.
McGinn's a good
like
player,
the
though.
ones we're talking about.
Szoboszlai is better than McGinn anyway.
You're telling me Szoboszlai is
Alex Cook is a very good player for Bournemouth.
It's Szoboszlai a better
Can I tell you one
We
thing?
got that red
Yes,
card.
Szoboszlai is
I
better
need
than
to
John
do.
McGinn.
I need
Yes.
to do the super chats because we're not going to stay for long. I need to do because we
I
need to
just have a
respond.
point about Villa's
I am
midfield.
telling you, Don, couple of things.
I'm curious.
Aston Villa's midfield is not even better than Newcastle's midfield.
For me,
It's
it's
not. Newcastle is better
Nah,
than
for me
Aston
it is.
Villa.
But I
me,
would
it is.
say that
For me,
Villa's midfield did very well against PSG.
I know,
And
opinions
PSG's midfield ran
differ.
circles around Liverpool's and
You lot
Arsenal's
are just
midfield.
underrating their midfield. You lot are just
No,
underrating.
no.
their
I think
Opinions
they are
differ,
good.
but it's only Don's opinion that matters.
I think Don.
You
I
lot can
think
have
they
your
are
opinion,
good.
but I really like Villa.
Right, Sam. Right.
I think I agree with you in terms of they're good, but I don't think they are elite. They still lack that guy, the difference maker that sometimes McAllister do, Palmer does. You know what I mean? Like they don't have that guy. Even by the way, Newcastle with Tonali and Bruno Guimaraes, they are both difference makers. There is an argument that Bruno Guimaraes and Tonali, one of them might start for Chelsea this season because they have been both being very good.
Oh,
Let's
Bruno
not go
Guimaraes
there
starts
because
for
we're
Man
about to go
City.
into something we don't want to get
like,
into.
he starts.
Anyway, let me do this.
Guimaraes walks
How-
into midfield in this league. He walks in.
No, but Caicedo has been elite as well. It's for me. If opinions differ on Caicedo and Guimaraes, I won't be upset. No one is clear of anyone. You get my point? Like that's how are Arsenal fans talking no Premier League since 2004 and 0 Champions League? That has nothing to do with the conversation.
You'll never.
I'll be talking to the end of time, BMW. Trust.
Okay, Chelsea is fluid.
We'll
Arsenal
be there.
is on defending. Actually, that's not true.
Yeah, Chelsea's midfield is definitely more fluid than theirs.
That's fair enough. Fair enough. Ahmed Suleiman is that, of course, Osam has to say Rice is better than Caicedo. He just has soul.
Of course.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so why did I say Enzo is better than Partey then?
All right,
That's
then.
only salt when it counts in your favor.
Watch Don screaming at Dan just a couple of days ago. The man is absolutely obsessed with Arsenal. Just say Chelsea have the best player so he can. No, but we're not doing that. Don doesn't just say things.
I'm
He
doing
has-
that next week.
Don
I'm doing
definitely
that.
just said
Yes.
things. 100%.
I disagree. Don doesn't just say things. My thing about people that actually, when we have debate, Don, like he says, the metrics say that, which is a very good evidence to have. You know what I mean? And he says, my eyes don't lie, blah, blah, blah. I actually disagree with people that say, oh, just people say stuff for the sake of things. I disagree with that. Don is gonna.
Check your WhatsApp. Check your WhatsApp, Mo. Check your WhatsApp as well.
I did.
Say swear you're using highest
God.
ratings. Oh my god.
Are we using
Oh,
his
Start
better
going
than
on who
Bayern.
got
Bayern.
any almost
Play
man
this
of the
as well, please,
matches
Mo.
for the season.
I'm
Yeah.
trying. I'm not
God.
uploading it, Don. I'm uploading it, wallahi.
Share the one that I sent you secondly as well, and go check the team that are
His
second.
metrics is highest
Check
ratings.
the team that are second on that list as well, behind Chelsea, by the way. Everyone knows how good Chelsea's midfield is, by the way. Go check the team that are second, didn't it?
With the time I'm doing this, guys, we have about 1,600 people in the house, and we're only on 300 likes. Can we get at least to 500 likes? Hit that like button, people. I know everyone is engaged. Here you go. This is what you are. Moises Caicedo, the highest rated central midfielder in the Premier League this season, performance index, but that is rating, Don. That doesn't say
Well,
anything.
Bruno Fernandes is on that list, then you know it's a
That's
shit
all the
list.
metrics accumulated. That is all the
Do
metrics.
you rate
accumulated.
Bruno
Who's number two?
Fernandes?
Who's number
Do
two?
you rate Bruno Fernandes,
boy.
Don?
I do. Bruno this season, he's been good. I'd say he's been good this season.
Yeah, but definitely Bruno Fernandes has not been third because that says that Bruno Fernandes has been the
Good.
third.
Now show the second thing that I
He
said.
doesn't watch Man United games if he's saying
Look,
that.
look who's number two on that list there. And everyone knows how good Chelsea's midfield is.
Oh,
Look
this
who's
is,
right
what
behind us.
this is what he was showing.
Look who's right behind us. Yeah? And look where Liverpool are. But I'm bugging out though.
That's
I'm bugging
because
out.
Liverpool have Salah, mate.
I'm bugging out though, aren't I? You know
He's
what I'm
only
saying?
highlighting
Well,
middle of the pitch.
yeah,
If he
no.
highlighted right
You're
side of
not.
the pitch, it'd be very different metrics.
Let me
You're
continue
right.
this so we can just finish this. And where am I? Yeah, we did this. Watched. Oh, no, we did that as well. Don was talking about Arsenal. To be honest with you, unstarred them. Yeah, I'm gonna try. Using Declan Rice's nomination for Player of the Season is widely disingenuous. As a whole, you may argue that Arsenal has better midfield structure. Chelsea creativity and goal scores from the midfield is clear. I think that is spot on. Yes,
I
Chelsea's
think they,
midfield is clear.
I can take
Also,
that.
the
I mean, that's a
nominations
good
for player of the
argument.
season are kind of I don't think they nominate the correct people because last season Rodri wasn't even nominated for Player of the Season and he won the Ballon d'Or. So I don't think the Premier League really knows how to nominate.
As long as we're going
properly.
to say that it doesn't matter for anything and we all agree that it's just popularity, I can take that. Fair?
Yeah. Arsenal supporter here, Caicedo has been more consistent than Rice. We are amping his ability based off his great performance versus Real Madrid. That's an Arsenal fan. Fair enough, my man. If you think so, you think so. Yeah. Fair enough.
And guess what? Moments matter in football.
Don's a stat man until it comes to Salah versus Hazard. I don't know where Don went. Actually. I think his internet just got cut out.
I think he said he had to go at a certain time. Maybe
maybe. Don is a stat man until it comes to Salah and Hazard. Yeah, everyone is like stats until we say Salah and Hazard. That is what happens all the time.
Damn, he had to miss that super chat. That would have been funny.
Yeah. Tacos is saying Chelsea midfield will only be tested next season when they have to compete. We have Nina still. When we have to compete in the Champions League, you can't make 11
that's a comment
changes.
you want Don to answer. I mean, Nina's the pragmatic, logical one, and Don is the gaslighter.
Yeah, Nina's already said
the gaslighter for the comment.
You can't make 11 changes every game. Caicedo and Lavia struggle to stay fit. Caicedo has been fit. And Palmer goes missing against big teams. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, Palmer struggled to stay fit because he had some injury issues this year. More than Caicedo. I don't remember.
Do you agree with this, Nina?
Missing a single game.
What do you think?
Next season. Yeah, no, it's true. It will be tested next season in the Champions League. Absolutely. And we'll see if Lavia can stay fit for the whole season. So we can see what a midfield of Lavia looks like as well. But yeah, no, certainly. Spot on. Agree.
Playing central midfield involves defensive work as well. Only talking about what they do on the ball. Arsenal better midfield all around. I actually think that Chelsea's midfield has been good defensively this season as well, especially in the last 15 games or 12 games when the action.
Also take into account how teams play too. Like, I don't think Don ever takes into account that all of our teams don't play the same and our players don't have you're here. Okay. I don't think sometimes you don't take into account the differences in the way that the teams play. And you're like, well, I like the way my team plays, so these metrics matter. Sometimes they matter differently because we all play differently. That's all.
But the thing is that you're saying, hold on. The reason why
it was a simple
the reason
point
why
a rebuttal.
No, it does need a rebuttal because what you're saying is just it don't even make sense, right? You're talking about style of play. The reason why our style of play uses our midfield a lot is because of the players that we have in our midfield, right? That's the reason why we progress the ball through the middle a lot, and that's why Aston Villa progress.
Okay, can I ask you a simple question because this is what Super Chat. Do you think Arsenal's midfield is better defensively than Chelsea?
Defensively.
Yes.
I'll probably say
yeah.
Off the ball, the way they press off the ball.
When they don't have the ball, is it better defensively?
I mean, I don't know, man. It's because we defend well. We defend well, man. If you guys know, because if you want to talk about defensive metrics, bro, in the final third, Enzo has won the ball back more than Declan Rice in the final third, and Declan Rice is meant to be a destroyer.
Yeah, but okay, you're choosing one aspect of the game. Is Arsenal midfield defensively better than Chelsea? It's a simple thing. Like you don't. If you don't think it, you don't think it.
I don't think it is. I don't think it is.
I feel like you're not. Yeah. Okay.
I don't think it is. I don't think it is because Caicedo defensively is better than Partey.
His midfield's the best in the world. Let's just
that's where exactly. That's
you lot overrate Arsenal's midfield. You lot overrate Arsenal's midfield. That's your problem. That's your problem.
I actually don't think they are overrating our midfield. I think most of them think like Hussam thinks his midfield is better than ours. I know Kel thinks her midfield is better than ours.
No, I don't. Not this year. My midfield
not this year, but in most years you would say so. I feel like you're hyper focused on us being like way worse than you or something, and it's like
I do think anything. I just asked you a question about if you think our midfield is better.
Obsessed, but I get it. You know.
No, you don't want to answer the question. You want to do the banter thing now because I cooked you. That's what it is.
Look, listen, I'm here for a barbecue. I'm fine with it. You know, like if I need to get a little barbecue, that's cool. I can accept that people have different opinions and that mine may not always be right. Can you?
Of course I can. Of course I can.
Okay. Well,
once again, I want to go check here because Hussam, Why am I checking all these metrics right now between Tielemans and Gravenberch? And Tielemans
Do you see
happens to be clear on everything. He happens to be clear on everything.
By the way,
Even
Tielemans
defensively-
over Gravenberch.
even defensively.
Stop. Just
Bro, let me
stop.
read you something. Bro, let me read you something before I go, because I've got to go, yeah? This is the defensive metrics between Tielemans and Gravenberch. Yeah?
Nobody's picking
Tielemans,
over Gravenberch.
1.72 successful tackles per 90. Gravenberch, 0.99. Yeah? Tielemans, possession won in the final third, 0.36. Gravenberch, 0.3.
Which website are you on?
This is what's this? What am I using here? Footmob.
Because already in the new tab that I opened, Gravenberch has 2 tackles per game, so you're already wrong. On
Oh,
Squawka.
Tackles one, 2 tackles one. Okay, we're not. Can we not do the
Per
stats
90 on
again?
Squawka. Also, Don, before you go, since metrics are so important, is Salah better than Hazard?
No.
All you've got to do is go check Hazard's underlying metrics, and they'll tell you that he's a better player.
Okay, the metrics. Salah has more goals, more assists, more chances created, more big chances created in his time.
No, it doesn't, because I can just
In
go.
the same amount of minutes.
I can go season by season and go
We're
bring
not
you the
doing that.
underlying.
Please.
Hold on. I can go season by season. If you're gonna talk about the goals, you're gonna talk about the assists, cool, whatever. I can go season by season. And
Why
show
do you
the
say
underlying-
whatever? It's a
I
metric.
can show you the underlying metrics between the two. Hazard clears Salah on most of them, bro.
Oh.
Absolutely
No,
clears
he does
them.
not. No,
That
he
means
does
his
not.
all-round game is better. That means his all-round game is done.
Don, you
No, he
gotta
does not. The only metric
Go.
that Hazard beats Salah on is dribbling. That's it.
Can we,
Metric.
let's finish
No,
it. This is a different. It's a different show. Okay, we have 8 minutes left or 7 minutes left to end the show, and I need to do like this, just 10 super chats or something like this. Chelsea has a better midfield, but Arsenal are better coached. See, opinions differ. Someone said that I think Chelsea is more fluid, and its opinions differ. Appreciate the super chat, Jay. Don, you had the same midfield last year, and you build up mostly on the right because that's where your best player is located, which is Palmer. Team also go to their best player. Liverpool action is mostly on the right.
Yeah, because Poch didn't know how to set up a midfield. That's why we mainly played from the right-hand side with Palmer. Right now, we've actually got a manager that knows how to set up our midfield. Most of our plays through the
That's
middle.
not the point. That's not the point.
And Palmer had
That's
a
not the point.
better season last season.
That's literally not his point. The reason why Aston Villa create more down the middle is because Liverpool have Salah. Very simple answer. Done. Do not change his point just to make your point.
Reason why we play
I
You're
can
How does that matter? Our best player is on the right. He has the most big chances created in the whole Premier League.
I have a
Yeah,
simple.
Most chances created in the whole Premier
Don,
League.
Don, before you,
That literally showed Arsenal do the same thing.
Sam, okay. I'm just
Well,
gonna
they're
simple
playing on the
question.
right because their best players
If
on the right.
Enzo Maresca decided to play Cole Palmer on the right side next season, do you think you're still gonna progress the ball through the middle more than the right side?
Yeah, I do.
All right. Okay.
It depends. It depends who. If we put a Santos through the midfield, for example, you're still progressing the midfield. You're still progressing the ball through the midfield.
Yeah, but you
We've
have
got a lot. We've got a lot of technicians in this team, you know.
Yeah,
Are you not the same person? Are you not the
same?
same person? Are you not the same person that's been saying that most of the play this season hasn't been going through Palmer? You're the same person that told me this.
Yes, but still the right
That's
side.
why
and
the
left-
numbers are better in the middle.
Yeah,
We're not-
but
we're
the
not Cole
right
Palmer
side, but
FC
the
anymore.
right side. Yes,
We're
yes,
not
but
Cole
the
Palmer
right
FC
side and the
anymore.
left. But your wingers are way weaker than your midfield. Your midfield is
Oh,
way
no, I
stronger.
realized this
Ars-
today. You're the biggest gaslighter on YouTube. You know this? You're a very good
No,
gaslighter.
I'm holding people accountable after what they say.
No, because when we make a statement that negates your point, you respond to something else.
Negates what point? What do you mean? He
The
just said
reason why
if you move Palmer to
Aston
the
Villa
right,
have more
if you
chances
move
created
Palmer
down the
to the
middle
right,
Guys,
than
you're right.
Liverpool is because Liverpool's best player is
I-
on the right and he's the one that does the creativity.
Well,
Yeah,
we
but
can
I'll
stay here
say-
forever.
Mo said most of our play doesn't go through Palmer anymore. Mo literally said to me, Palmer
Yeah,
will be
but
calling
you-
for the ball at times.
I am
without passing.
gonna tell you, I can debunk that very simple. But because your wingers are much weaker than your midfield, because Enzo Fernandez is way more creative than your wingers, you still go through the middle as well. If Cole Palmer goes to the right, and he's very good, I think it will be divided between your right side and the midfield. So, like logically speaking, your right side will go up and your midfield will go down. I'm not saying it will be dominant on the right side, but it will shift a little bit. Does that make
It depends who you replace
Palmer
Palmer
is a
with.
great player. Unless you're gonna get a player better than Cole Palmer.
Bro, if you want to play Caicedo, Lavia, and
I don't
Enzo
think
in that
that exists
midfield,
right now.
if you want to play Palmer, Caicedo, and Enzo in that midfield, we're still progressing the ball at a very high rate through the middle. But I've got to go, people. Anyway, I've got to come.
Anyway, thank you. Appreciate it.
In a bit.
Yeah, in a bit done. Arsenal are better in goalkeeper, defense, and midfield. And if we get Gyökeres, we become better in attack too. We have
Not so
dominated
sure
them in
about
two
that.
games. In 2 games last week. The defense, Miles. Goalkeeper, Miles. Wingers, Saka's better than all your wingers. It depends who gets Gyökeres. Simple. It's, by the way,
I don't know.
that might
That's
define
not
the season
convinced
for
on
both
Jokeris.
teams. It depends on you, Chris. Ashraf. Oh, thank you. That's Ashraf. Habibi, appreciate you, Habibi. That's Ashraf, my guy. I wish all the Arsenal fans coming on the stream just to agree with everything delusional Don Illusion say,
Non-delusional.
so we can move on. Dude ruins every stream he's on. I think that debate was
He
elite.
doesn't
and I
he
even-
didn't have that
Zero.
built up from like months
Done.
ago, so he needed to.
I actually think that debate was elite. To be honest, I think it was
Yeah, it
good.
was fun.
Good entertainment. Like, this is YouTube. We're not on Sky Sports. Nina goes on BBC. That is different.
Yeah,
Watch
She's
Nina on BBC.
professional.
Celebrity.
She goes on
That's why
BBC.
she's quiet, you know. When you're a celebrity, you just can't. You get me.
Hey, there's a new
Right.
celebrity, and she's here.
Jess. You have an assistant, Jess.
Or wait.
I don't have an
There we go.
assistant.
Your assistant was sitting on your lap a minute ago.
I wish I did have an assistant. I wouldn't be so like tired and stressed out all the time.
You won the same amount of games because Arsenal regressed. So what does that tell you? But who said that Arsenal will go back again to the top? We don't know.
Okay, so I was gonna say this earlier, but Don was like crashing out. Listen, I get that. Like, Chelsea did really well this season. Like, I'm not even a hater like that. The only team that I pray on their downfall is Man United, and I did very well on that this season. Listen, but I don't think anybody really considers the fact that we had a poor season, and that even in a poor season, we did like kind of okay. So without some of those injuries and with some, additions, we could be really, really good next season. So I don't think we're quite finished yet, but everybody has us in the dirt.
Yeah, I don't
already.
think you're finished. I don't think you're finished.
Don's team couldn't even beat my Finnish team. We
You're the only one
higher
who
than you did.
Top right was, he's talking about Don, was allowed at the beginning of the season when he said Jackson and Palmer are the best attacking duo in the league. Donna always, bro, it is what it is. It changed because he had an horrific season, Jackson. Odegaard has 2.4 chances, same as Enzo. Palmer has 2.5 per game. Only reason Enzo and Palmer have bigger total is that they have played more minutes. Really? I didn't know that.
You think per game or per 90? Because per 90
He's
might be a
taking
little
per-
more. Yeah,
Per 90.
I'd be interested to see what the per 90 is.
Yeah.
If you think Odegaard
Oh,
and Cole
sorry,
Palmer
sorry.
are on the same level, it's up to you to think
Big
that, to
glasses.
be honest
That
with you.
needs a VAR check.
Yeah.
No,
It
that.
definitely needs a VR check, Tony.
If
Talking
you're
about
picking Odegaard over
Palmer, I think
Palmer, you're
in
getting a
for
red
it.
card.
Talking about how Rice is in the wrong position while he has the 10th in chances created and 6th in big chances created, or metrics only matter in favor of Chelsea players. I test merchants love stats now. The thing about this, Tony, is people use stats when they backs their eye test. That is the whole point, Tony. Thank you so much. Appreciate the super chat, Tony. But yeah, I listen. Enzo Fernandez and Declan Rice, it's completely different type of players. It depends on who you have, to be honest, as a third midfielder. Wouldn't take Osam's opinion on anything, to be fair. Same guy said he would take Wolves midfield over ours, and I'm a good man, bro. He has a talent ID of a fish. Slot out.
Listen,
So
the Wolves
that-
midfield was
that-
cooking last year.
That take will always haunt you, Osam.
The Wolves midfield was cooking last year. Big up Lemina, Joao Gomez. These guys were cooking.
Yeah. See, big. Does Osam still think Cherki is a better deal than Wirtz now that Cherki is linked to City and Wirtz is linked to Liverpool, or is he shameless?
I said I would take Cherki and Isak over Delap and Wirtz, and I stick by that.
All right, fair enough. Wirtz named MVP last season. Kane named MVP this season.
Oh, Bundesliga player of the season.
But I feel like Wirtz was injured for quite a long time. I could be wrong. I think he had like
Well,
one-
Leverkusen
Is that-
also
Osam,
had
is
a
that-
worse season.
I don't know. Osam is the one who told me that Wirtz won 2
Yeah, he
back-to-back.
won. He received his award yesterday. I literally saw it.
So it's not Kane.
Kane
No,
won the
stop
Golden
Kane.
Boot equivalent.
Yeah,
Wirtz.
Kane won the
Oh,
Golden
alright.
Boot.
All right. Oh yeah, Osam. Kane won Bundesliga Player of the Season. That's a Bayern Munich fan. Check Bundesliga website.
I literally saw him receiving the award, so maybe it's a different award or whatever. But
Maybe
he
it's a
won it.
He
different
might have won
playmaker
like
or something.
playmaker of the season or something
Yeah,
like that.
Okay, thank you, Mina, for correcting. Don, Chelsea spent 1.5 billion to win the Conference League. That's awesome. And please stop talking without thinking. I don't think he does. And the 1.5 billion has nothing to do with the debate of the midfield people. Has nothing to do with the midfield debate. People bring up that is different.
Yeah, that's
Why did Liverpool spend
price tag doesn't
65
mean
million?
You're going to be good.
Why did Liverpool spend 65 million? Szoboszlai, is he a flop? Yes or no?
Yeah, did he flop?
I wouldn't say he's a flop, no, because he's not as bad as flops, but he's not as good as successes. He's in the
Can I
middle.
just say something? You cannot call Szoboszlai a flop if he won the league being a starter for Liverpool for a whole season.
I'd say Darwin Núñez is more of a flop than Szoboszlai.
Yeah,
Yes,
Núñez is a
100%.
flop.
Adamir is saying everyone laughs that Palmer scored 1 goal since January, but Wirtz scored only 1 goal since January 2 in the Bundesliga. And you're glazing him. By the way, I rate Wirtz.
No, I just think that the 1 goal since January and Palmer having like, I think it was just because Chelsea fans had gassed him up so much. It was actually more that they were gassing him and then he had that drop and then people kind of like went in on him. It's not really about Wirtz versus Palmer there, I don't think.
I think Palmer was injured for some of it too.
Liverpool got overrun in the midfield by Chelsea 2 times and by PSG. We saw that Gravenberch look. We saw what Gravenberch looks like under a crazy press. They're starting going long to Salah.
It's fact.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
you
but
got overrun by the likes of,
midfield destroyed.
you got
everyone.
overrun by the likes of Crystal Palace this season. Never mind PSG. Now what? Also,
See,
when you say
don't-
Chelsea 2 times, drunken Liverpool that was in Dubai does not count. We beat you when it mattered.
Arsenal
Wasn't
got
the,
to play a drunk Liverpool also.
wasn't the original question with Zubimendi for Jess? Yes, or
Yes, he asked her a question about Zubimendi,
quite
and
literally
then
never
Don
got
went
to
on a
fully
tangent
answer
about
that
fucking
question.
metrics. Underlying metrics.
according to stats, Don Romero is bigger than Saliba in 23-24. By the way, SE, there's a lot of people that keep saying this. Arteta is done for me. Don't care which striker. I wouldn't go with that mentality next season. If Arsenal get the signings, you still have to have hope. To be honest with you, AMT, you still have to have hope. You can't tell me that you're not going to support them. But listen, people, pick up everyone that joined us. Nina's channel in the description. Go and support Nina. Go click on that link. She knows Arsenal in the description. Don CFC if you're a Chelsea fan or you're a rival fan and you want to watch Don CFC, and also Don Osam, who was live right before us. Go and check out that video. Pick up everybody that joined us. Thank you so much for Nina. Congratulations again.
You can also catch
Mo,
Nina
put
on
in
the
on Sky.
BBC, on Sky Sports. You get me? You can catch her on all these channels as well. BN Sports. So make sure to show her love on TV when you see her as well. Say hi, Nina. I watch you on most channel.
Big up everybody. Thank you for everyone joining us. Thank you guys for giving us the time. It was a great debate, great entertainment as always, of course. Appreciate you. We'll see you guys tomorrow or later today. This will take you to Ziad's zone. Go and support Ziad. And we're out of here.
Fuck
Did I even
Ziad.
read that? Did I even redirect to him? Wallahi, I didn't even redirect to him. Sorry, guys. He's live.
Redirected.
Okay.
Are we
It's
still live?
safe. We are
That
still
was
live.
later today. It's 7 p.m. UK